He rarely shared this space with anyone. So when he spotted someone crouched at the edge of the water, he didn't slow out of curiosity. He slowed out of instinct. Beau Caldwell was a man who trusted his instincts more than he trusted most people. He reined in his horse, studying the stranger. The figure wasn't a ranch hand. It wasn't a traveler. It wasn't someone lost and looking for directions. It was a woman, alone, small, and trying desperately not to be noticed. Her dress was torn at the hem. Her hair hung loose around her shoulders. Her arms trembled as she dunked her hands into the flowing river water and tried to steady herself. She jumped when she heard his horse's hooves. Her eyes shot up toward him, wide, frightened, and full of something raw, survival, not the ordinary kind, the kind bred from danger you can't outrun. Beau didn't speak right away. He knew better than to spook a wounded animal or a wounded person. He nudged his horse forward slowly. "You lost?" he asked calmly. The woman backed away so fast she nearly slipped. No, please, don't take me back," she gasped. Her voice cracked. Her breathing hitched like she'd run a long distance or cried harder than her body could handle. Beau lifted both hands slowly. "I'm not here to take you anywhere," he said gently. "Just a man on his land, asking what's going on." She shook her head violently. "You don't understand," she whispered. "If they find me—" "Who?" Beau asked. The woman pressed a hand to her chest, eyes darting through the trees, as if every shadow held a threat. "He will," she whispered. "He always does." Beau dismounted and moved with quiet, steady steps, giving her space. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated for several long seconds. "Marjorie," she whispered finally. He nodded. "I'm Beau. This is my land." Marjorie swallowed, guilt tightening her face. "I didn't know. I wasn't trying to trespass. I just needed somewhere to breathe." Beau studied her closely. Everything about her, her posture, her flinches, the way she kept looking behind her shoulder, told him she wasn't wandering. She was running. "What happened to you?" he asked. Marjorie shook her head again. "I can't say." She backed up another step. "It's safer for you if you don't know." Beau let out a slow exhale. "You're hurt. You can hardly stand straight. You think running again is going to help." "I don't have a choice," she whispered. "You do now," he said. She froze. "What?" "You're on Caldwell land." "And nobody harms anyone under my watch," he said firmly. "If you need help, you got it. If you need rest, you got that too." Marjorie's face crumpled as if she hadn't heard kindness in a very long time. I shouldn't," she whispered. "I'll bring trouble to your door." Beau shrugged slightly. "Trouble knocks on everyone's door at some point. I just open it faster." A small, broken laugh escaped her, sad and surprised. Beau extended a hand, not to force her, just to offer. "Come on," he said quietly. "You need a place to think. My ranch house is close." Marjorie stared at his hand like it was a foreign object. She didn't take it immediately. Instead, she asked, "Why would you help me?" "Because you look like someone who ain't had help in a long time." Her lip trembled. "Please," she whispered suddenly. "Don't tell anyone you saw me." "Won't," Beau replied. "But you're in no state to keep hiding. You need safety." Marjorie finally nodded. I'll go with you, but just for a moment." Beau didn't push. He simply led his horse and walked beside her as they made their way toward the ranch house. Beau opened the door to the ranch house, simple, wooden, clean, kept in order by a man who preferred manual work over conversation. He motioned for her to sit, but she hovered near the doorway like a frightened bird ready to dart. "You want water?" he asked. She nodded. He poured her some from a jug and set it on the table. Marjorie reached for it with trembling hands. Her fingers were scraped. Her wrists showed faint bruises. Beau noticed, but didn't comment. "You been running long?" he asked softly. "Too long," she whispered. "From who?" She swallowed hard. Her grip tightened on the cup. "My husband," she said finally. Beau felt his entire body go still. "Your husband?" She nodded. "He's not like other men," she whispered. "He owns people, buys silence, controls sheriffs, threatens families. There's nowhere safe from him, nowhere far enough." Beau leaned forward, eyes sharp. "What's his name?" Marjorie hesitated, because saying the name felt like inviting danger, but she whispered it. "Henry Stanton." Beau's expression changed subtly, like a locked door clicking open in his mind. He knew that name. Everyone did. Henry Stanton was the kind of man who smiled with his mouth, but not his eyes. The kind who never raised his voice because others raised theirs for him. The kind who owned land without buying it, controlled votes without campaigning, and made enemies disappear without questions asked. Beau didn't speak for a long moment. Marjorie misread his silence. "I know what you're thinking," she said softly. "You don't want trouble with him. No one ever does." Beau shook his head. "Marjorie, I'm thinking he's tried to buy this ranch 3 times. Sent men, sent papers, tried threatening me with legal nonsense. Ain't scared of him?" Marjorie flinched. "That's why I can't stay. If he finds me here—" "That's if," Beau interrupted. "I got eyes on my land, and people who'd ride for me if I asked." Her eyes filled with tears. "You risk everything by helping me." Beau shrugged. "Maybe, but I ain't letting a woman run herself into the ground just because some man thinks she's property." Marjorie pressed a shaking hand to her mouth. She didn't cry loudly, just let silent tears run down her cheeks. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I shouldn't be here." Beau stood and walked closer. "You should be exactly where you're protected." Marjorie shook her head. "No place is safe from him." Beau's expression hardened. "Then he ain't met the right man standing in his way yet." Her breath hitched. "Why are you even doing this?" she whispered. Beau answered without hesitation. "Because someone needs to." Marjorie felt something shift inside her, a small, fragile hope she hadn't felt in years. Her shoulders loosened. Her hands stopped shaking as violently. She finally let herself sit. For the first time since she ran, she didn't feel hunted. But deep down, she also knew something Beau didn't. Henry Stanton always found what he lost. He always did. And the man she left behind would cross county lines, bribe sheriffs, and tear through every ranch until she belonged to him again. Her voice trembled as she whispered the truth. "Beau, he's coming." Beau's jaw tightened. "Then he's coming to the wrong ranch." Marjorie stared at him, this calm, steady rancher who had no idea how deep Stanton's power went. Yet she felt safer with him than she had felt with anyone in her entire life. And that terrified her. Beau Caldwell's ranch had seen strangers pass through before. Travelers who lost their way, drifters looking for work, merchants seeking a place to water horses. But none of them had ever shaken the ranch the way Marjorie had. She didn't try to take up space. She didn't talk much. She didn't ask for help. She simply existed quietly, like someone who expected the world to break apart beneath her feet at any moment. Beau noticed everything about her, the way she checked the doorway before entering any room, The way her hands flinched whenever a floorboard creaked. The way her eyes tracked shadows as if they held familiar enemies. And he noticed the bruises, too. Not fresh, not angry, but faded marks that hinted at battles she never got to finish. Beau didn't mention them, not yet. Instead, he offered her calm. Calm she didn't know how to receive. Later that afternoon, Beau brought her a plate of food, stew, bread, and a bit of roasted meat. "You need to eat," he said. Marjorie sat stiffly at the table, fingers in her lap. "You don't have to feed me," she murmured. "I do if you plan on staying alive," Beau replied. She stared at the plate. "I'm used to eating alone." Beau sat across from her. "You ain't alone now." That sentence hit her so hard she froze. The fork slipped from her hand. "Beau," she whispered, almost afraid to speak. "You don't understand. I don't belong anywhere." He leaned back slightly. "I think you've been told that so many times you started believing it. Doesn't make it true." Her eyes welled with tears. She tried to blink back. But Beau didn't touch her, didn't comfort her with hands. He gave her space, the first thing she actually needed. "You said you're running from your husband," Beau said finally. "What exactly does that mean?" Marjorie's lips trembled. "I shouldn't tell you," she whispered. "Knowing makes you a target." "Marjorie," Beau said calmly. "I already became a target by finding you." Her shoulders fell. She took a long, shaky breath, and then she told him. "My husband's name is Henry Stanton," she said softly. Beau's jaw tightened. He already knew the name. Stanton was a man who shook hands with politicians and shook debts out of farmers' pockets. Someone with a smile that promised partnership and a heart that promised ruin. Marjorie stared at her hands while she spoke, voice barely above a whisper. "He owns half the region. Land, trade routes, supply chains, rail contracts, more than any man should control. But he doesn't just own businesses." She swallowed. "He owns people, sheriffs, judges, deputies. He decides which cases disappear, which ranch lines get accidentally moved, which families receive mercy, and which ones don't." Beau listened without blinking. Marjorie continued. "He married me to get my father's land. My family was respected. Our name made people open doors. Henry used that. He wore me like a badge of influence." Her voice shook as she whispered, "I stopped being a wife. I became a tool." Beau's fists tightened slowly, knuckles whitening. "Did he hurt you?" he asked. Quiet, controlled. Marjorie didn't answer at first. Then she lifted her sleeve slightly, and Beau saw it, the outline of old bruises, faint but cruel, the kind made by hands that believed they owned everything they touched. Beau went still. He inhaled once, very slowly. Then he said, "He ain't laying another finger on you." Marjorie shook her head quickly, fear rushing back. "You don't understand," she whispered. "Henry Stanton doesn't let things go. He doesn't get embarrassed." "He gets even." Beau leaned forward. "And you don't understand that I ain't scared of him." Her breath caught, not from fear, but from disbelief. "No one talks like that about Henry." "I ain't no one," Beau said, "and my land ain't his." Marjorie stared at him as if he was speaking a foreign language, a language where men existed who didn't fear Henry's shadow. But her expression changed again when Beau asked, "What made you run?" Tears flooded her eyes. "I found his ledger," Marjorie whispered. "The one he keeps locked in the top drawer. The list of names, the payments, the deals, the threats. All of it." Beau stiffened. "What kind of list?" Marjorie swallowed hard. The kind that ends lives if anyone ever sees it. He exhaled sharply. And you saw it. She nodded. He didn't mean for me to. I dropped a vase. I was cleaning up the pieces. The drawer was open just an inch. I saw the ledger. I opened it. Her voice cracked. And then I heard his footsteps. She continued. I hid behind the door, clutching the book. He came in, saw the drawer open, and the way he screamed. She shuddered violently. I ran through the servants' hallway, out the side gate, down the road. I didn't stop until my legs nearly gave out. Beau's expression darkened. You got the ledger on you? She shook her head. No, I dropped it when I ran. He has it back. But he knows I saw everything. He'll never trust me. And men like him don't let loose ends breathe. Beau nodded slowly. So he's coming. Marjorie nodded helplessly. He always comes. Mitch returned from checking cattle mid-afternoon, sweat on his brow and dust on his boots. Boss, he said, tipping his hat at Beau. Then he noticed Marjorie. She the woman you found near the river? Yeah, Beau said simply. Mitch raised an eyebrow. Looks like she's seen a ghost. Marjorie stiffened. Beau replied with a warning edge. She's staying here a while. Mitch blinked. You sure that's wise? It is. Mitch looked between the two of them, Beau steady and unmovable, Marjorie trembling but trying to hide it. You're protecting her, Mitch said slowly. Beau didn't respond. He didn't have to. Mitch scratched his jaw thoughtfully. Well, just so you know, word in town is that some fancy-dressed rider's been asking questions about a runaway woman. Marjorie paled instantly. Beau stood quickly. Where? North Road, near the trading post. When? This morning. Marjorie's breath shook. He found me, she whispered. Beau touched her arm gently but firmly. He found my land, he corrected. She's right, Mitch added. If it's who I think, that man's dangerous. Beau didn't blink. So am I. Marjorie stood abruptly, trembling so hard her chair scraped across the floor. I should leave, she said quickly. If Henry finds me here, he'll punish everyone involved. He'll buy off lawmen. He'll send men with torches. He'll... Marjorie, Beau said gently. She kept rambling in panic. He'll ruin this ranch because of me. He'll take your land. He'll... Marjorie. She finally looked at him. You ain't leaving, Beau said quietly. You walk off my land, he'll get you. You stay here, he'll get nothing. Her eyes filled with tears. But you'll die protecting me, she whispered. Beau stepped closer. I ain't planning on dying, not today. Not for him. Her breath caught. She stared at him. This man she didn't know, this man who owed her nothing. And she whispered, Why are you doing this for me? Beau answered without hesitation, Because you deserve someone who ain't afraid of him. That evening, Beau walked her to the guest room door. Lock it if you need to, he said softly. But you're safe under this roof. Marjorie's fingers hovered over the doorknob. Beau, she whispered. He looked at her. I've never had anyone defend me, she said quietly. You do now. Marjorie swallowed hard. And tomorrow? She asked. He nodded once. Tomorrow we fight smarter. She hesitated. And if he comes sooner? Beau's voice dropped low, calm, deadly. Then he comes to the wrong ranch. Marjorie stared at him, a strange, warm ache in her chest, fear mixing with hope. For the first time in years, she wasn't running, she wasn't begging, she wasn't alone. Beau Caldwell stood between her and the man who owned half the region, and for reasons She didn't understand yet. She trusted him. The Caldwell Ranch was a quiet place by nature, but the quiet that settled the next morning wasn't peaceful. It was the kind of silence that existed right before something breaks. Beau stood on the porch, checking his rifle for the 5th time. Mitch was beside him, sharpening a knife and pretending he wasn't watching the road every few seconds. Inside the house, Marjorie paced the living room, her hands wringing, heart pounding. She felt sick, sick with fear, sick with guilt. "I shouldn't be here," she whispered to herself. "He'll kill them because of me." She walked to the door and pressed her forehead against it. "Beau," she whispered softly, "I'm sorry." But the door opened before she could pull away. Beau filled the doorway, blocking the morning light. He looked at her, not annoyed, not upset, but steady. "You all right?" he asked. She shook her head. "No." "Beau," her voice cracked. "I can't let you fight a man like Henry. He destroys lives for fun. He'll burn this ranch down just to make a point." Beau's jaw tightened. Then he came to the wrong place to make it. Her breath trembled. "You don't understand how dangerous he is. And you don't understand how stubborn I am." Marjorie blinked up at him, tears threatening. "You barely know me." "I know enough," Beau said. "Enough to know you ain't the problem. He is." She covered her mouth, fighting back tears. "Beau, people like Henry win. People like you." Beau stepped closer. "People like me don't lose when we're fighting for the right thing." Her breath hitched. She'd never had anyone say something like that. Certainly not for her. Before she could respond, Mitch called out sharply, "Riders!" Beau turned instantly, eyes narrowing. A cloud of dust rose from the edge of the property as several horsemen approached. Even from a distance, Beau recognized the confidence in their posture. The kind of men who believed nothing could touch them. The kind trained by Henry Stanton. Beau's grip tightened on the railing. It's time. The riders slowed near the barn, forming a loose semicircle. In the center of them, mounted on a black stallion like a general, sat Henry Stanton. He didn't look frantic. He didn't look angry. He looked annoyed. The kind of annoyance a man felt when his property wasn't where he left it. Beau met him halfway across the yard, rifle in hand, but pointed down. Henry smiled, a thin, elegant smile that didn't touch his eyes. "Well," Henry drawled, "if it isn't the stubborn rancher who refuses to sell to me." "Get off my land," Beau said. Henry chuckled softly. "Beau, I'm not here to negotiate. I'm here to retrieve what's mine." Beau didn't move. "Your wife ain't your property." Henry chuckled. "You speak like a man who's never owned anything of value." Mitch bristled from behind Beau. Beau ignored the insult. "Marjorie ain't going anywhere with you." Henry's smile faded. "Where is she?" Beau stepped forward just enough to make a statement. "Not your concern." One of Henry's gunmen pulled forward. "Boss, you want us to search the place?" Henry raised a finger. "No. Beau's an honorable man. He wouldn't hide her." He looked Beau dead in the eyes. "Would you?" Beau didn't blink. "I'd bury you before handing her over." Henry's smile returned. "Then bury me." The yard went silent. The men behind Henry shifted, ready for violence. Marjorie watched from behind the window, trembling. Her past had arrived. Her old life had found her. But this time, she wasn't alone. Henry swung off his horse slowly, every movement smooth and practiced. "You made a very stupid decision, Beau," he said. "Protecting a woman who doesn't belong to you." "She belongs to herself," Beau said. Henry snorted. "You talk like a preacher." Then something cruel flickered in his eyes. "You should know I don't plan on taking her back alive." Marjorie gasped from inside. Beau took a step forward, voice like stone. "Say that again." Henry smirked. "Marjorie betrayed me. She saw things she shouldn't have. There's no future where she lives past this week." Beau lifted his rifle slightly. "There's no future where you walk off this ranch." Henry's face hardened. "Kill him." The order snapped like a whip. His gunmen drew their weapons. But Mitch was faster. The first shot rang. One of Henry's men dropped. Chaos erupted. Gunfire cracked across the yard. Men ducked behind barrels, hay bales, and the trough. Beau fired 2 clean shots, hitting the guns of 2 attackers, sending them skidding across the dirt. Henry crouched behind a wagon, returning fire with calm precision. Marjorie covered her ears inside the house, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Beau!" she whispered, terrified. She crawled to the door. She couldn't help herself. She needed to see him. Outside, Beau rolled behind a fence post as a bullet grazed the wood where his head had been. Mitch shouted, "2 more on the left." Beau fired and dropped one. But Henry wasn't aiming for Beau. He was aiming for the house, for Marjorie. Beau saw it too late. Henry sprinted toward the porch with a knife drawn, using the chaos as cover. Marjorie screamed. "Beau!" Beau vaulted over the fence and tackled Henry just as he reached the steps. The 2 men crashed into the dirt, rolling violently. Henry slashed wildly with the knife. Beau grabbed his wrist. They grappled, fighting with pure fury. Henry slammed the butt of the knife into Beau's jaw. Beau staggered. "You think you can protect her?" Henry spat. "You think you're better than me?" He lunged again, but Beau's fist hit Henry's ribs, knocking the breath from him. "She ain't yours to hurt!" Beau yelled. Henry managed to twist free, slashing Beau's shoulder. Marjorie cried out as Beau stumbled. Henry grinned as Beau bled. "I built an empire!" Henry shouted. "I decide who lives and dies." Beau wiped the blood from his lip. "You ain't build nothing but fear." He stood again. Henry slashed. Beau dodged. Henry lunged. Beau caught his wrist and slammed Henry's hand against the wooden railing until the knife dropped. Henry howled in pain. Beau kicked the blade away. Henry swung a punch. Beau caught it and pinned Henry against the post. "You're done," Beau said quietly. Henry's eyes widened. "You wouldn't kill me." "No," Beau said, "but you're going to answer to someone who will." At that moment, the sound of galloping hooves thundered across the field. Not Henry's men. Lawmen. Deputies from the federal marshal's office. The one Sheriff Henry didn't control. Mitch stepped forward, lowering his rifle. "Figured you might need backup," he told Beau. "I rode out early." Henry froze completely. The deputies dismounted, guns trained on him. "You're under arrest," one said. Henry's jaw clenched. "You can't arrest me." The deputy smirked. "Funny, I thought the same thing for years." They shackled Henry, ignoring his furious shouting. "You think this is over?" Henry yelled as they hauled him away. "She'll never be safe." "I'll walk free again." Beau watched silently. Mitch tossed Henry's fallen hat into the dirt. "Not this time." When the deputies rode off with Henry and the surviving gunmen, the ranch fell quiet again. Beau leaned on the porch rail, breathing heavily, shoulders cut and bruised. Marjorie ran to him, tears pouring as she pressed her hands against his wounds. "You're hurt," she cried. "I'm all right," Beau said softly. "You shouldn't have fought for me," she whispered through tears. "Then I'd have been a fool," he replied. She cried harder. "You don't even know me." He wiped her tears with his thumb. I know enough. She held his face gently. Beau, what you did, nobody ever protected me like that. He exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of her pain and the beginning of something much deeper. You're safe now, he said. She leaned into him, trembling. What do I do now? Where do I go? Beau held her hands. You stay, he said simply. As long as you want. As long as you need. She looked up at him, hope flickering for the first time. Are you sure? Beau Caldwell smiled. Small, soft, rare. Marjorie. I ain't ever been more sure of something in my life. She threw her arms around him, burying her face in his shoulder as he held her close. Steady, safe, unshakable. For the first time, she felt what freedom truly meant, and it began with Beau Caldwell standing between her and the man who owned everything, except her, because she didn't belong to anyone now. She belonged only to herself, and maybe someday, to the man who saved her.